Hello, this is Mr. Vanscoy. This is Lesson 5 in our unit on stars, essential outcome number 7, Lesson 5. In this lesson, we're going to take a look at star classifications. When you're done, you should be able to explain the classification system of stars and also use some scientific data to discuss star classification. There will be some things I would like you to just kind of know as background knowledge, but there's also going to be a lot that I want you to interpret the data, either in a table or in a graph. So let's start our discussion on star classification. Stars, our most common classification system is by color. And by color, we're also meaning temperature. So it is the temperature that determines the color. So we will quite often say that stars are classified by color, but really what that means is that they're also being classified by temperature. Okay, so both color and temperature. Here we've got a data table showing kind of the basic star classification systems. There are also subgroups to these. I would not expect you to know, for entry-level earth science class, I would not expect you to know all of the class, color, temperature ranges and examples. What I would like you to know is the color range and how that color range changes with temperature. You don't need to know specifically that a blue star is over 30,000 degrees Kelvin, or that a yellow star like our own is somewhere in the 5,500 to 6,000 degrees Kelvin. But what I would like you to know is that a blue star is hotter than a yellow star. A yellow star is hotter than a red star, and kind of all of those in between. So again, I'd like you to know that blue is the hottest, and then as we work our way down, that red would be the coolest. Okay. Other than that, I want you to be able to use a data table like this to answer some potential questions, either about the class letters or temperatures, or maybe even some of these example stars. All right, here is one of our, I'm going to show you another diagram, but here's our first diagram of one of the most famous kind of scatter graphs in all of astronomy. It's a Hertzsprung-Russell diagram, or abbreviated HR diagram. This graph, this scatter graph, shows plots the relationships between the star's absolute magnitude, which is its luminosity or its true brightness, versus their classification, or in this case, temperatures. So in other words, it's a plot of each star on a graph measuring its brightness compared to its temperature, which again, temperature also has to do with or relates to color. The diagram was created around 1910 by two astronomers, Hertzsprung and Russell, long before the time of computers, so they did all of this manually by hand, sorting out this information. It shows the variety of stars that we have in the universe and in our galaxies, and as we later found out, will find out, the different life stages of stars. It represents a major step towards understanding how stars evolve and change during their life. Again, I would not expect you to memorize loads of information off from the HR diagram, but you should be able to know the different patterns that this graph shows. So here's another diagram, another HR diagram, representation of that. A couple of things to note here is that on the x-axis along here, we've got the luminosity, or what kind of might simply be thought of as its brightness. And then on the x-axis, we have the temperatures. Okay, it says surface temperatures. A couple of things to point out here, which may seem a little counterintuitive. We kind of have this cultural expectation that blue is cold and that red is hot. But if you actually look at the numbers, 30,000 degrees Kelvin, and it says right here, increasing temperature. So these stars on the left are going to be increasing in temperature. If you go to the right, it says decreasing temperature, and sure enough, again, even though we have this cultural bias about colors and temperature, red is actually the cooler of the colors. Okay, so kind of keep that in mind. Again, just another diagram here, and you'll see in these next few slides that I have some links if you want to learn more about these. And again, another link here. And these are to the Crash Course Astronomy video that's been made by the folks at PBS and Crash Course. I believe it is Astronomy episode number 26. And there it is in our notes. If you want to take a look at that video, you can watch that again. The year that I'm recording this, we've actually watched that in class already. Okay, well, I think I'm going to stop here and continue on our next topic in another lesson. In today's lesson, we took a look at the classification system of stars, and we talked about using scientific data to discuss those classifications. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask.